MailJet for sponsoring this episode of TFD. Try MailJet today for free by using our link, mailjet.com/TFD. So something that is very important to TFD as a business are email and newsletter services. It's one of the biggest ways that we connect with our community, that we share our new content, and that we generally reach the people we need to reach with the kind of stuff they want to be reached with. And if you're a business owner, leading a marketing team, or a freelancer, you also know how important it is to have an intuitive, easy-to-use email marketing platform. And MailJet is all of that and more, an all-in-one email marketing platform for designing, sending, and monitoring email marketing campaigns, newsletters, and automated emails. MailJet's drag-and-drop email editor helps you create beautiful emails that connect with new and existing customers. It does the heavy lifting for you with beautifully pre-designed templates so that you can spend less time designing and more time growing your business. MailJet also lets you streamline your email workflows so that you can engage with new and existing customers at the right moments with the right message. Automate emails so they arrive in inboxes as recipients hit important milestones in their customer journey. Plus, with MailJet's insight tools, you can learn about your customers' behavior so that you can optimize your strategy and increase conversion rates. Try MailJet today for free by using the link in our description, mailjet.com/TFD. Hey guys, it's me, Chelsea from The Financial Diet, and I wanted to hop in really quickly before we get to today's video because, for once, I'm actually not going to be hosting it. For the month of February, we're bringing in 3 different experts to cover a 360 view of how to prepare for a potential recession. This is something that we get asked about more than basically anything else on the channel. Are we in a recession? Are we going to be in a recession? What does that mean? What should I do differently? What should I do the same? How can I prepare? And all of these are totally valid questions, and they don't all have one right or wrong, black or white answer. So we've created our 3-week series, The Recession Roadmap, to navigate exactly how to get through a potential recession. In some ways, a recession means you should do things exactly the same, and in fact that changing your strategy could be detrimental to your finances. In other ways, a recession means you should perhaps prepare differently. And what a recession means to different people totally depends on their individual situation. Do you have a fleshed out emergency fund? Are you in a particularly volatile industry? Do you have multiple sources of income? Are your expenses really high compared to that income? A recession impacts basically every aspect of our financial and professional lives. And so preparing for things like your day-to-day budgeting, your investment strategy, and your career positioning are all crucial to navigating this well. So I've brought in 3 experts, Nika, Emily, and Tara, to talk all about navigating those aspects and more of getting through a potential recession from their respective expertise. We're going to be covering those subjects, budgeting, investing, and career prep, and you can always hop at the link in our descriptions to watch the other ones in the series if you haven't. This is our 3-week deep dive, The Recession Roadmap, and this week we're talking all about how to invest through a potential recession. Anyway, guys, enjoy this series, and I'll see you back on my Tuesday show come March.
Hey there, I'm Tara Falcone. I'm a certified financial planner and the founder and CEO of a new investing app called Reason. And I'm super passionate about helping women learn how to invest and put their money to work to level up their financial life. I'm taking over this video to talk about investing in a volatile or scary market and how you can stay on track to achieve your financial goals, whether the market is going up or down. So in today's video, we're going to talk about what's been going on in the market and economy lately, the effect that has on your investments, which factors are in and out of your control, and how to use a method called goal-based investing for a healthier approach that will help you feel more at peace and in control of your investing destiny. Now, to give you some context, I grew up in a low-income family. I became financially independent as a teenager, then went to work on Wall Street after college. I've lived a lot of different financial lives, from not having enough money in high school to put gas in my car to go to work, to earning a high income in my early 20s. And I have found that the things we'll cover in this video to be true regardless of age, income level, earnings, and life stage. So let's kick things off with a quick lay of the land. After the longest bull run in history, the market has been super rocky over the last couple of years due to a variety of factors: a global pandemic, supply chain issues, political instability, interest rates, and record inflation, just to name a few. The influx of retail investors, meme stocks, and the rise and fall of alternative assets like crypto have also added new variables to the market that we're not accustomed to operating with. And if there's one thing that the market, meaning investors and other players in the investing world, doesn't like, it's uncertainty. And there's been no shortage of uncertainty recently, hence the roller coaster ride that our investments have experienced. But how do all of those factors, particularly interest rates and inflation, actually affect the value of our investments? Well, let's take a step back and walk through a quick stock prices 101. Hopefully this is a helpful refresher on how and why certain factors influence stock prices to go up or down. So in a nutshell, a stock's price is an equal share or slice of a company's value. A company's value is largely driven by how much money, usually profit, that company is generating today and how much people expect it to make in the future. When the economy and job market are strong and consumers are spending money, investors expect a company's revenue and profit to keep growing. If revenue and profit grow, the company's value increases, and investors are willing to pay more to own a slice of the company. This usually pushes stock prices up. Now, if the opposite happens, the economy and job market are weak, maybe interest rates and/or inflation are high, and consumers aren't spending as much money, then a company's earnings usually decline. When this happens, investors view the company as less valuable and don't want to pay as much to own its stock anymore, therefore pushing stock prices down. Now, the latter is what has been happening over the past year or so. We as consumers have been battling higher interest rates and inflation, which makes us want to spend less money and try to save more money instead. When consumers spend less money, companies generate less revenue. Meanwhile, companies' expenses, like their supplies, payroll, everything, have gone up tremendously. So now their revenue is lower and their expenses are higher, which means their profit is declining. And since stock prices are driven by things like profit, if profit goes down, stock prices generally fall with it. So then why and when could we reasonably expect the market to go back up at some point in the future? Well, the economy is cyclical and has historically gone up and down and then back up again about every 5 to 10 years. We have no reason to believe that won't happen again, as the US stock market has proven to be very resilient over decades. Another more tangible reason that we can expect the market to recover is this: the hard decisions that companies have made to reduce their expenses, slashing marketing budgets, and conducting layoffs should put them in a stronger financial position once the economy starts to pick back up. And since revenue and profit drive stock prices, as those values start to increase again in the future, we would expect stock prices to follow suit. Now, it's important to mention that we can reasonably expect the stock market as a whole to recover over time, but not necessarily specific individual companies. Some companies will weather the storm just fine and come out stronger on the other side, while others will not. And those that don't will either cease to exist, sending their stock prices to zero, or possibly get acquired by other companies. That's why, especially in periods of uncertainty, it's recommended to invest in diversified investments like ETFs and index funds, where your money and risk are spread across hundreds of companies, not in individual stocks where your money is exposed to the potential success or failure of just that one company. One other important thing to mention is that since we expect the market to recover, it's generally a bad idea to sell your investments in a panic as prices decline. In fact, you may want to consider investing more if you can afford to, as this could be a good opportunity to buy investments at a discount to their future price. So now that we've talked about why volatility happens, I want to take a minute to dive deeper into why the ups and especially the downs of the stock market make us feel so anxious. One of the core psychological theories that drives my financial planning philosophy is Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which states that we as human beings are motivated by certain basic and social needs. Physiological needs like food, shelter, and water, safety, love and belonging, self-esteem, and self-actualization or purpose. And what I find fascinating about this theory, especially when it comes to investing, is that it exists on a time spectrum. Our current self is driven by those needs today, but we're also saving and investing to satisfy those needs for our future selves tomorrow. And so when you really think about why a market downturn makes us feel nervous or afraid, it's not the tangible dollar value drop in our account that concerns us. It's that today and tomorrow's needs and wants feel threatened by that decline. In other words, an uncertain market calls into question our ability to achieve our goals today and tomorrow. But we as human beings have a tendency to overstate the bad and understate the good. So in moments like this, I think it's crucial to identify and voice your fears. What emotion does a volatile market make you feel? What needs or wants feel threatened in this period of uncertainty? What's truly the worst that could realistically happen in any of those cases? And what action could you take if it did? Pause this video and answer those questions for yourself. Often you'll find that the worst case scenario isn't as bad as you think, and you have more control over how to potentially handle it than you give yourself credit for. Now, speaking of things in and out of your control, it's helpful to recognize which factors are out of your control so you don't waste time or energy on them. Now, when it comes to investing, current factors that are out of all of our control include inflation, interest rates, and layoffs, along with the market's reaction to any or all of the above. But I think it's even more important to recognize and take control of the factors that are in your control. which is what we'll spend the rest of the video talking about. These are your investing goals, i.e. what you are investing for and why, the tools you use like accounts and investments to invest for those goals, and the strategies that you choose to achieve each of them. All right, let's start with goals. The number one mistake I see investors of all kinds making is not setting specific goals for their investments. Rather, they invest to build wealth or just have more money. But what is wealth, and how do you define more? You see where I'm going with this? When you dig deeper, it's not actually wealth that you're striving for. It's what that undefined amount of money will enable you to buy or do that you feel you can't buy or do today. It's not $1 million net worth that you're after, but what you could do with $1 million, right? Perhaps you want to buy a house in 3 years, maybe an electric vehicle in 5 years, and then take a mini early retirement or a break from the workforce in 10 years. Those are your reasons for investing, and you need to accumulate a certain amount of money to achieve those goals, not the other way around. The problem with investing for wealth is that it's an undefined finish line. It's too vague and subjective to truly know when you've achieved it or to measure your progress along the way. Think of it like a road trip. If you don't know the details of your destination, it's impossible to chart a course to get there or reroute along the way when or if you find yourself off course. Now, the other issue I like to call out with investing for wealth rather than specific financial goals is that it puts you in a more reactive financial position. When you don't have defined investing goals, what typically happens, especially when it comes to retirement, is that you look at how much money you have in total and then ask yourself, what kind of lifestyle can I afford with this amount of money? Or in times like today, you might look at your investment accounts and wonder whether you can truly afford this, that, or the other thing. That's because a lack of specificity fosters uncertainty. Instead, when you have defined goals, you're able to be more proactive and say, this is the lifestyle I want to live. How much do I need to make it happen? When you get clear on why you're investing, the path or paths to invest become much more clear. So how do you do that? How do you define and invest towards specific financial goals? With a method called goal-based investing. Goal-based investing basically allows you to create separate buckets or sub-portfolios for each of your investing goals, rather than having all of your investments in one lump sum account with no context. It recognizes that each of your goals has 6 unique variables that affect how you should save and or invest for them. Those variables are 1, the amount you need to achieve the goal, 2, how much you're starting with, 3, the time horizon or how long you have to grow your money, 4, the return you need to earn to get from point A to point B during that time, 5, any contributions or additional money you'll contribute to that goal along the way, and 6, how taxes might come into play. It also highlights how those variables interact with and influence each other and which ones are in your control. So for example, the more money that you start with or can afford to contribute along the way, the lower the return you typically need to earn, and vice versa. Now, goal-based investing isn't anything new. In fact, financial planners use this approach with clients all the time. But surprisingly, it hasn't made its way to everyday investors like you and me yet for some reason. Now, I have lots of ideas as to why. The main one is that historically, the primary measure of success in investing has been return. What return did your portfolio generate this year? Did your overall portfolio return beat the S&P 500? With the goal-based investing, success is instead measured by whether or not you actually achieve your goals, whether you can afford to buy or do the thing on the timeline that you intended. That's why I think it's the smarter, healthier approach, especially in a volatile market. Goal-based investing allows you to see how market movements are affecting each of your goals at any time. That way you can adjust this or that strategy accordingly at the micro level to get back on track if necessary. Personally, this more organized and intentional approach helps me feel less stressed and more empowered with my investments. And that's precisely why I created a new goal-based investing app called Reason. Reason allows you to view all of your investments in one place, create a bucket for each of your investing goals, assign specific investments to each reason, and then track your success through a goals-focused lens. You can see crowdsourced insights like what goals other people like you are investing for and the common investments they've assigned to each goal. And soon, you'll even be able to earmark certain investments for joint investing goals like a home down payment and retirement with a partner. In the future, we'll allow you to buy and sell investments directly through Reason, automatically sell your investments when they reach the amount that you need, and then use those funds to easily pay for the goal directly from your investment account. Our users, especially women, have said that Reason helps them feel calmer in this volatile market by giving them more context about how the ups and downs are actually impacting their various goals. Click the link below to download Reason and try out this goal-based investing approach for yourself. Now, once you define your goals, you need to make sure that you're using the right tools to achieve each of them. The two main tools that you want to focus on are 1, the account or accounts that you're using for each goal, and 2, the assets that you own in each of those accounts. Starting with accounts, there are 3 primary account types to consider. There's brokerage accounts, individual retirement accounts, aka IRAs, and a 401k or other employer-sponsored account. If you're saving and investing for certain goals, maybe a vacation or a home down payment via a brokerage account, you'll likely need to factor in taxes on whatever money you earn toward that goal. IRAs and 401ks, on the other hand, offer more beneficial tax treatment, and you have 2 options to choose from when it comes to how your contributions and gains are taxed, traditional or Roth. Now, I won't go deep into the specifics of the traditional versus Roth debate here, but there is one thing I want to call out about Roth IRAs that make them an intriguing option during a downturn. Because you put money that has already been taxed into a Roth IRA, whatever earnings you generate on those dollars over time grows and then can be withdrawn tax-free at retirement. Therefore, if you're able to invest at a discount during a downturn and then earn higher returns on those dollars as the market recovers, a Roth IRA could allow you to get more bang for your buck, so to speak, in the long haul. Now, the second tool to consider is assets. Which asset or assets are you putting in each of the buckets for your various goals? There are 4 primary asset classes: cash, bonds, aka fixed income, stocks or equities, and then alternative assets, which include everything from real estate to collectibles, crypto, and more. In a volatile market, cash is considered the least risky place to invest your money and still earn a small return. Bonds are also considered lower risk and tend to do well during a downturn while generating short-term income for investors. Stocks don't typically fare well for reasons I mentioned earlier, as we've seen recently. But historically, stocks snap back and outperform other asset classes when the market recovers. So it's good to own some if your risk tolerance and time horizon allow. And when it comes to alternative investments, it really depends. Now, I don't call them misfits for nothing. They don't behave like cash, bonds, or stocks. They are less predictable and more heavily influenced by certain macro factors than the rest of the asset classes. In periods of uncertainty, I personally prefer to stick to what I know and can rely on when it comes to achieving certain goals. Now, once you've defined your investing goals and familiarized yourself with the tools that you have to choose from, the next step is to decide how to combine those tools to create a flexible game plan for each of your goals. To do that, you first need to calculate the return needed to achieve each goal, then choose a mix of assets that can realistically generate that return. This mix is called an asset allocation. Let's use a home down payment as an example. Say you need $50,000 for a home down payment in 3 years. You already have $26,000 in cash saved for your down payment, and you can afford to contribute $500 a month or $6,000 a year over the next 3 years towards your home down payment. So after 3 years, you would have contributed a total of $44,000 in cash towards your $50,000 home down payment. Using goal-based investing, what average annual return would you need to generate in your home down payment bucket in order to make up the $6,000 difference between the cash you've invested and the amount you need? And what asset allocation or mix of assets would you use to make it happen? Well, a compound interest calculator, I like one called MoneyChimp, shows you that you would need to earn an average of 6% in your home down payment bucket to achieve your $50,000 goal in 3 years. What mix of assets could you put your money in that would be expected to generate an average of 6% per year while taking on the least amount of risk possible, since it's a short time horizon and your home goal is really important to you? Well, lucky for you, interest rates on savings accounts are really high right now. They're over 3%. So a large chunk, let's say 60% of your bucket, could be in cash earning a high yield of 3.5%. So 60% of your money earmarked for the down payment could earn 3.5%, meaning it would contribute 2.1% to your overall bucket, 60% times 3.5%. But where could you get the other 4% from? If the other 40% were invested in stocks, which earn an average of about 10% per year, then you would expect the stock portion of your bucket to contribute 4% per year. 2.1% from cash plus 4% from stocks is 6.1%. This is called a weighted average return because it's the average of the returns generated by each asset class in your bucket, weighted or multiplied by the percentage of the allocation that that asset class represents. It's pretty easy math and is a calculation that you can do to choose the best asset allocation strategy for each of your investing goals. Now, the beauty of goal-based investing is that you don't have to create a perfect final plan for each goal. Just start with something flexible that makes sense today and gives you peace of mind regardless of what the market is doing. Remember, you can't stick to a plan if you don't have a plan to begin with. Once you have a goal-based plan, you'll be able to tweak it as the market moves to make sure that you're staying on track. Are you falling behind on your house goal? No problem. You just might need to increase your monthly contributions, maybe adjust your allocation, and/or give yourself more time to achieve it. Or you could stick to your timeline but possibly commit to buying a smaller house. Or maybe you're on track or ahead of schedule for the new car that you want to buy. Great! You could consider buying it earlier or decreasing your monthly contributions to that goal and then redirecting those dollars to a different goal instead. I hope this video and goal-based approach gives you a fresh, empowering perspective on investing in an uncertain market. It may feel as though there are a lot of factors outside of your control, but remember that you do have control over most of the 6 variables that affect each of the goals that you're investing for. Focus on what's in your control, the size of your goals, how much time you have to achieve them, and the assets that you assign to each. Create a flexible plan for every goal, then review it every 6 to 12 months and tweak it as necessary. Thank you so much to the Financial Diet for giving me space to share this information with you. If you found this video helpful, make sure to give it a thumbs up to let TFD know. And if you're looking for a tool to get started with goal-based investing, then click on the link below to download my new goal-based investing app, Reason. I'd love for you to check it out and let me know what you think. Thanks so much, and we'll see you next time.
And I'm jumping back in, guys, real quick to answer my 2 society questions of the week. Just a reminder, if you're not a society member, you can become one by hitting the join button. In addition to getting to ask me these questions that I answer at the end of every video, you also get access to our monthly members only video, the office hours with me every month, our TFD book club, and all kinds of exclusive goodies and perks. So hit that join button if you haven't already. And here are this week's 2 society questions. You've mentioned that you mostly follow people your age or older on social media. Inaccurate. I mostly follow people over the age of 50. Wondering if you can recommend some in the 50, 60, and up range. Sure can, baby. Let me pull up my Instagram because I don't remember these people's names. I'm like, oh, that girl. Okay. Just a few of my favorites. All-time queen, Paola Marea, an Italian architect, TV host, and all-around chicest woman who's ever lived. Here are just a few of her highlights. God, that woman can assemble an outfit. Hill House Vintage, love her. Another one, I actually don't know her age exactly, but Chef Hillary Sterling, she's a chef here in New York City. She does one of my favorite restaurants, Ci Siamo. Her Instagram is great. I love her food stuff. I follow a gray hair influencer called Gray So What. She's really cute. Mimi Todd Hunter, she's this older woman who lives in Venice and just has the sweetest, her content is so wonderful. Oh, Susie Rejano, her and her daughter are sickeningly fashionable and gorgeous, and they sort of make me feel bad about myself, but they also give me life. Oh, the silver lining is so pretty. Oh, wait, I also have to shout out a man. Freck Vreeland. So he is 95. He's Diana Vreeland's son, and he has the most wonderful, lively Instagram. He's always, doing fun stuff. He loves his wife so much, and, look at, he always posts these pictures of him and his wife. He's 95. He's look at him. He's in his little suit with his little pocket square, having a little glass of red at this gorgeous restaurant in France. Look at this. I want to be 95 and doing this with his son. Okay. Okay, last one, but look at this. A little breakfast au soleil. We love to see it. Anyway, I just love following older people. If you could be vibing like this at 95, now granted, the finances of that, you're Diana Vreeland's son, I'm sure that bank account isn't sparse, but what a thing to aspire to. Okay. How can you responsibly decide what is enough when it comes to fun money while also saving? I tend to shift from over-saving to spending a bit more, never overspending, never in debt, than planned in fun things. I loved Hannah Louise Poston's video about this, but I'd like to hear your point of view too. So if you're never overspending and never in debt, it sounds like you've got a great balance going. It sounds like you're doing fine if you're never overspending and never in debt, and if anything, tend to oversave. I totally agree. Basically, I really like the pay yourself first method when it comes to thinking about money. If you are able to, you set your savings goals and you set your budget with all of your bills and your recurring expenses. Once your living expenses and savings goals are covered, and that includes retirement and I guess debt payoff if you have that as well, everything else is yours to spend. The whole point of having a budget is knowing what you have left over that you can spend and feel good about without having to worry about it impacting your long-term financial health or goals. So I really don't think it has to be a guessing game. I think you set your goals first and then work backwards from there. Those are my two answers to this week's question.